On the 24th of April 2013, Bolivia filed a case against Chile before the International Court of Justice, claiming that Chile was obligated to negotiate in good faith to grant Bolivia sovereign access to the Pacific Ocean. Bolivia argued that this obligation stemmed from agreements, diplomatic practices, and statements by Chilean high-level officials. Chile denied the extent of such an obligation. On the 15th of July 2014, Chile submitted a preliminary objection to the court jurisdiction, which was rejected on the 24th of September 2015, allowing the case to proceed after various procedural steps and public hearings. The court issued its final judgment on the 1st of October 2018. In its ruling, the court concluded that Chile was not legally obligated to negotiate Bolivia's sovereign access to the sea. However, it emphasized that this finding did not prevent both countries from continuing dialogue in a spirit of good neighborliness to address Bolivia's landlocked situation and issue both as recognized as of mutual interest.
Bolivia filed a lawsuit against Chile before the International Court of Justice, seeking recognition of Chile's obligation to negotiate in good faith sovereign access to the Pacific Ocean for Bolivia. Bolivia was established as an independent republic in 1825, with access to the sea. In 1879, Chile occupied the Bolivian coastline during the War of the Pacific, depriving Bolivia of its access to the ocean. In 1904, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship was signed by Bolivia, formally ceded its coastline to Chile. Although Chile subsequently made verbal and written commitments to negotiate sovereign access for Bolivia. Bolivia argues that Chile repeatedly committed to negotiating sovereign access to the sea, and that these promises have been breached. The claim is based on diplomatic notes, such as those of 1950 and 1975, official declarations, bilateral agreements, and resolutions. Bolivia invokes this statute, which recognizes the compulsory jurisdiction of the resolve legal disputes between American. This constitutes Chile's preliminary objection to the lawsuits filed by Bolivia in 2013, in which Bolivia requests that the International Court of Justice compel Chile to negotiate sovereign access to the Pacific Ocean. Bolivia lawsuits also presented as an obligation to negotiate actually seeks uncovered revisions of the 1904 Chile requests that the International Court of Justice reject Bolivia lawsuits for lack of jurisdiction, since the issues raised are excluded by Article 6 of the Pact of Bogotá and were fully resolved by the 1904.
Summaries of judgments and orders. Bolivia asked the International Court of Justice to compel Chile to negotiate sovereign access to the Pacific Ocean, arguing that Chile had committed to do so on several occasions since the 1904 peace treaty. On the other hand, Chile argued that the issue had already been resolved by the 1904 treaty, and that treaty for the court lacked jurisdiction to hear the case. The International Court of Justice concluded that the case does not seek to modify the 1914 treaty, but rather to determine whether an independent obligation to negotiate exists. Therefore, the court does have jurisdiction to hear the case. Press releases. Bolivia sued Chile before the International Court of Justice of the obligation to negotiate a sovereign access to the sea. The court set the following deadlines for submitting briefs. Bolivia, April 17, 2014. Chile, February 18, 2015. The International Court of Justice explained that only states can bring cases before it and that its decisions are binding.